Hi, 6th graders. For this video lesson, we are going to go over lesson number 78 again, just to make sure that you got it, as well as lesson 79 on area of a triangle. So to begin, you should already have this written down in your notes, the unit of liquid measurements for U.S. customary and for metric to go along with lesson number 78. If you don't have it down, please go in your textbook for lesson 78 and write it down. If you would like to follow along in the book, it is on page 405. So we'll start with example 1. Which says, a half gallon of milk is how many pints? We can answer this by looking at our conversions, and we need to find how many pints are in a half gallon. So what we can do is start with what we know. We know that 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. So I'm going to write that down to start off with. I know that 1 gallon is equal to 4 quarts. But I have a half gallon. So that means a half gallon will be equal to 2 quarts. But I need to go into pints. So I can look at my next one, and it says 1 quart is equal to 2 pints. So I'm going to write that down too. 1 quart is equal to 2 pints. I have 2 quarts in a half gallon. So if 1 quart is equal to 2 pints, then that means 2 quarts is equal to 4 pints. So my answer should be 4 pints. Please take a minute and write this down if you need to. Okay, next we'll talk about example 2. And the question says, which has the greater capacity, a 12-ounce can or a 1-pint container? If we go back to our units of liquid measurement conversion, we can see the relationship between pints and ounces. So we're going to write that down. I'm going to start with pints. 1 pint is equal to 2 cups. Because I can't go to ounces right now. I got to work through this a little bit. So if 1 pint is equal to 2 cups, and 1 cup is equal to 8 ounces. I need to know this one because I also have to compare it with ounces. So these are the 2 measurements that I am going to use to solve this. Oops, sorry. So to start off with, we look at 1 pint equals 2 cups. I need a 1-pint container, so that means I need to find out how many pints are in an ounce, or how many ounces are in a pint. So if 1 pint is equal to 2 cups and 1 cup is equal to 8 ounces, that means that I would have 2 cups. So if 1 cup is equal to 8 ounces, and I have 1 pint, which is the same thing as 2 cups, that means I have 2 cups, which would equal 8 times 2, which is 16 ounces. Okay, so 1 pint is equal to 16 ounces. So which has the greater capacity, a 12-ounce can or a 1-pint container? Well, 12 ounces compared to 16 ounces, we can definitely tell that 1 pint is greater than a 12-ounce can. Okay, now we will do some practice problems. For practice A, you can follow along here, also on page 405. Our first practice question is, what fraction of a gallon is a quart? So again, we go back to our units of liquid measurement, and we see that right away 1 gallon is equal to 4 quarts. So that's what we're going to start with. is what we know. 1 gallon is equal to 4 quarts. So what fraction of a gallon is a quart? Well, if there are 4 quarts in 1 gallon, that means there are 4 parts. So that would just mean that 1 quart would be 1/4. Another one, 1 quart. Another one, 1 quart. And another one, 1 quart. Because if there's 4 quarts in 1 gallon, that means you have to add up 4 different ones, which would be 1/4 if we looked at it like this. If there are 4 quarts in 1 gallon, that means each of these is 1 quart. 1 quart, 1 quart, 1 quart. So one of those quarts would be 1 out of 4 pieces, or 1/4. So what fraction of a gallon is a quart? 1/4. Okay, so now we will do B, which takes us into the metric system. And it says a 2-liter bottle has the capacity of how many milliliters? So we can go back to our chart, and we see metric system is a lot easier than all of these. 1 liter is equal to 1,000 milliliters. Remember, metric system often uses powers of 10, or multiples of 10. So a 2-liter bottle has a capacity of how many milliliters? Well, we know that 1 liter is equal to 1,000 milliliters. So if we have 2 liters, 2 liters would equal N, we'll say, milliliters. So if we have 1,000 plus another 1,000, so that means 2 liters is about equal to 2,000 milliliters, because 1,000 plus 1,000 is equal to 2,000. So that'd be 2,000 milliliters. I already went through C today in class, so you should be able to get through that one. If you have any other questions, we'll go over it when I come back. So until then, we're going to move into lesson 79. Okay, so for lesson 79, the title is Area of a Triangle. I'm going to start off by giving you the formula for area of a triangle, and then I'm going to explain why that works. So first of all, the area of a triangle, remember area, or A stands for area, is equal to 1/2 times the base times the height. You remember you can write it with the letters side by side together, or you can put dots in between. Remember, we have different symbols for how to multiply. So area is equal to 1/2 times the base times the height. If you recall, when we were doing area of a rectangle, we did area is equal to base times height. So why would a triangle be 1/2 base times height? Well, that's what we're going to find out. So we need, for this, a piece of paper, fold it in half, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a triangle on the base of this. So when I cut this out, I should have 2 triangles. So as you can see, right now I have a triangle. When I open it up, I have a parallelogram, or a rectangle. So what you see here, though, is I have one triangle that makes up half of it, and another triangle that makes up the other half of the rectangle, or parallelogram in this case, really. So if I needed to find the area of a parallelogram or rectangle using area equals base times height, if this was 5 and this was 6, 5 times 6 would be 30. But in order to find the triangle, I'm just going to put that in half because I'm only trying to find a triangle now. So the area of a triangle is 1/2 times the base times the height. So that's where the formula comes from. And we'll be doing a couple examples on how to do this. Your book also gives some instruction on why the formula works. That's on page 408 and 409 if you're interested. So we're going to go right into example 1. As you can see, we have a triangle. And we remember that our formula is area is equal to 1/2 times the base times the height. So this, you must have this formula in your notes. This is mandatory. Alright, so we're going to start off with looking at what we know. So if we know the formula, area equals 1/2 times the base times the height, draw our line so we stay in line. If we look, we can see that our base is right here at 8 centimeters. So I'm going to plug and chug what I know. I know 1/2. I know the base is 8. But now I need to figure out my height. If you remember a while back, we were doing area, and I told you to look at the dotted lines for the height. You're going to do the same thing now. Remember the dotted line for height. So we're going to look 1/2 of 8 times 4. So now area is equal to, do 8 times 4, which is 32, and then divide that by 2. Or you can find it by multiplying the fraction and then dividing. So 1/2 times 32, which you know how to do that. You can also just divide 32 divided by 2. So that gets us area is equal to 16. Remember, this is area, so it's going to be centimeters squared. Take a moment and think about what we just did and connect it to how we have done area in the past. Are you seeing some similarities? Are you seeing some differences? As long as you have the formula and you plug in the correct numbers, area can be fairly easy to understand or to solve, as long as you choose the right numbers. So we're going to be doing some other examples. Example 2 gives us a right triangle. So for this, we have no dotted line, but we can tell what our height would be by looking at what's going up. So to start off with, we always start with our formula. So area is equal to 1/2 times the base times the height. Draw my line so I stay in line. I'm going to start with 1/2, and I need to figure out what my base is. If we look down here, there's my base, so that's 4. And then my height, we already said, would be 3. So it's 4 times 3. So area is equal to 1/2 of 12. And remember that that magic of means multiply. And if you did that, you'd be 1 over 2, so 1/2 times 12, so 1 times 12 divided by 2. So either way, you're going to go right into that dividing when you multiply by 1/2, just like we've talked about. So this will bring us to 6 meters squared. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, remember, I can work with you when I come back on Friday. Next, we'll do some of the practice problems. You can feel free to go ahead and do them before I work on them and then compare your answers later if you feel ready. Otherwise, I will go through all of them. So to start off with, we write our formula. Area equals 1/2 base times height. Draw your line. Area equals 1/2. And I need my base. So my base in this case is 10. And my height, remember, is the dotted line, which is 6. So 10 times 6 is 60, so 1/2 of 60. And area would equal 30 feet squared. Remember to feel free to pause at any time if you'd like to record down the steps that I did. Practice problem B is another right triangle. I'm going to move it over a little bit so I have more room to write. Again, I start with area equals 1/2 base times height. Area is equal to 1/2, and my base would be 8. And my height, since I have no dotted line, is the one going up, which would be 6. So area is equal to 1/2. 6 times 8 is 48. 48 divided by 2 is equal to 24 inches squared. Problem C is an odd-shaped triangle, but we can still follow the same process. So we're going to do area is equal to 1/2 base times height. We might run into some problems here. Oops. Oh well. 1/2 times the base. The base is still this 56. And the height, remember, is the dotted line. So 56 times 15. So area is equal to 1/2 of, okay, and after you do the math, 56 times 15 is 840. 840 divided by 2, it would be 420. So I'm just going to put that 840. So area would equal 420 millimeters squared. We're going to do just one more, and then you can go ahead and work. Our last problem, this one looks a little odd. If you can see, here's the triangle, but we don't have a dotted line, so they added one to show where the triangle's height would be. In this case, it would be 6 centimeters because that's where the dotted line is. So don't get fooled by like, well, they don't have a height. No, remember, dotted line. So they're just extending it out so you can see almost a three-dimensional of what the height would be from the back. Okay, so we have, I'll write it down here at the bottom if we can fit it in. Area is equal to 1/2 base times height. Might have to move this up a little. Area is equal to 1/2. 5 centimeters is my base right here. And 6 centimeters is my height. So area is equal to 1/2. 5 times 6, which is 30. So 1/2 of 30. 30 divided by 2 would be 15. And it would be centimeters squared. So as you can see, no matter what the triangle in all of our problems, one thing stayed the same, even though all the triangles look different. Our formula didn't change, meaning it applied to all of them. So as long as you are using the formula correctly, your areas for your triangles should come out correct as well. So go ahead and practice, work with each other. Good luck. Thanks for watching and listening, 6th graders. I'm proud of you.